Hey, Big V.
What's up? Big V. How many guys here have fished with Vance or Muddy Creek?
What's up, yins, guys? Welcome back to Fishing PA with Ryan Reed. It's officially February 10th, and for those of you that watch my channel, you know that I was stoked about February 10th because of an event that took place in McKees Rocks just outside the city of Pittsburgh. Now, I've been looking forward to this event since last November when I initially signed up, and that event is the Musky Road Rules. Now, Musky Road Rules is essentially a school or a clinic that's put on by Tony Grant and Greg Thomas. So since this event was so awesome and I really thought it was beneficial, what I wanted to do was just kind of highlight the event, show you guys what it's all about from my perspective, kind of show you some of the pictures I took, show you some of the videos I took, talk about some of the seminars. I just thought this was an amazing opportunity to get out there and talk to some professionals. I learned a ton, I took notes, and it was just such an awesome way to get involved in the musky community and just continue to learn and grow as a fisherman. And I really can't say enough about Tony, Greg, Vance, and Tim. I thought they just did an awesome job with their seminars. They did an awesome job just handling the fishermen, talking to us, answering questions, posing questions. They had a lot of product there that kind of helped you with some of that, whether it was leaders or baits or rod rigs and setups or trolling or rod holders, whatever it was, they were readily available. They took the time to really sit down one-on-one and talk to you, which made it even more special to me because those guys, you value their opinion, they're professionals, and really for the opportunity to sit down one-on-one with the owners of Musky Hunter magazine and really just fantastic guides and people that have been involved in the sport of musky fishing, you really can't put a price on that for me. So $35, it was a no-brainer. I will do it again probably every year I get the opportunity. And I think that those are the types of things that I really want to highlight on my channel and highlight people that go the extra mile, keep things positive. And with Tony and Greg and Tim and Vance, it was nothing but positive today. It was just an awesome experience, and I'm really thankful that I had the opportunity to kind of buy in early and get on site and just be a part of Musky Road Rules. So with that said, I want to start off and I want to highlight the seminars, and then we'll talk a little bit about what happened throughout the afternoon, just to kind of give you guys a much better idea of what Musky Road Rules is all about. So it'll hopefully help you guys make a decision to get out there next year and be a part of this fantastic opportunity and fantastic learning experience. So first, to kick us off, it was Tony Grant, and he kicked us off with a seminar regarding reservoirs from season to season. Now, Tony really focused on the pre-spawn, the post-spawn, early fall, and late fall. Tony really took us through each season and kind of broke it out by water temperature, by location. He broke down what baits you should use, whether you're trolling or casting, and he really just gave you a wealth of information regarding each season on reservoirs, which doesn't only apply to southern reservoirs, it applies to all reservoirs. So I really enjoyed this. I really like how it was structured and how it was broken out. I learned a ton, I took a lot of notes, and it really kind of got me thinking about water temps and what presentations to use. And again, Tony just knows his stuff. So when he's telling you something, you can take that to the bank. And I thought this was such an awesome way to kick off Musky Road Rules. All right, guys, the second seminar that happened was Vance from Muddy Creek Fishing Guides. And he really focused on the topic of revisiting spots efficiently. And really the whole premise of his discussion was really technical in nature. And personally, I appreciated that. I'm still a beginner in the sport of musky fishing, but when Vance talks and he talks about certain things like trolling, and really he focused on what you need to be effective, not only fishing Chautauqua, but just in general. And a lot of that has to do with patience and really breaking down a spot and focusing on fishing a spot and not running and gunning. And I thought a lot of his tips really applied throughout any body of water, but really kind of what caught me the most was when he was talking about, coming up with a game plan ahead of time, knowing whether you're going to cast or troll before you hit the water, and then really committing to that form or that fishing style. And Vance, with the rod holders that Fat AZ does, he gave us a real technical description of how he trolls, what his spread's like, where he's casting, how he's casting, what lures he's using regularly. And I just thought it was a great discussion. And it was good for beginners too, because oftentimes we get out on the water and we have a set game plan, or we think about it on the way up to Chautauqua, but sometimes you get lost in that when you're on the water. So listening to Vance and listening to how he described how he fishes and what has made him effective and really what has put a lot of fish in his boat, it just kind of reassured me that I need to start focusing on basics when I'm out there fishing. So I loved his seminar. It was just awesome listening to him, and with the amount of fish that he boated last year, that's an awesome resource to have at Road Rules. The next seminar was by Tim Barker, who's a guide out of Cave Run. I believe he works for Tony. And the interesting thing about Tim, he talked about his experiences on the water, and he really focused on a couple different aspects. And that was really like post-frontal fish. Whenever you get a cold front in, he talked about muskies and their behavior and how the fish just eat. And he talked about one tip in particular is when you get a cold front in, people think the fish get lockjaw. And the interesting thing he had mentioned was a lot of times those fish will just move out to the next break when it's cold like that, or a front comes in, and you can still catch them. And I think a lot of us sometimes are in this mentality when we get a cold front, we just think, okay, the fish have lockjaw, they shut down, we're kind of in trouble here because of the cold front. But Tim, kind of the way he described and the way he talked about vertical jigging, and in particular vertical jigging bondies, that's an aspect to the musky fishing world that a lot of us just don't want to do because it's boring. But after listening to Tim and thinking about the way I walleye fish, it only makes sense to vertical jig for muskies when the fish want that. And a lot of it is you trying to figure that out throughout the day or throughout a week or whatever time you have. And vertical jigging is just another tool on your tool belt. So again, Tim, I really liked the way he conveyed information. What I really liked was the way Tim described how to vertical jig. He grabbed a rod, he gave us a demonstration, he talked about raising it halfway, and then he also talked about keeping pressure on that line as it goes down. In case a fish grabs it, you want to be in a position where you can set the hook. So there was a lot of good information. I really liked that seminar as well, and it kind of got me thinking more, outside the box. As a walleye fisherman at times, I do a lot of vertical jigging. It only makes sense for us to get into that for muskies, because sometimes that could be what they want to eat or how they want to eat. So again, it's just another tool for your tool bag, and it was just excellent information. All right, guys, the last seminar was put on by Greg Thomas, and he really focused on trolling and the aspects of trolling from a technical standpoint, and he also talked about vertical jigging. In addition to that, the way he started off, I thought was awesome. Greg started off with a couple different video clips from like 4 different guides. He asked them like 3 or 4 different questions and then got their answers back, which kind of really helped you get outside perspectives. So he had guys like Doug Wenger, and he had guys like Spencer Berman, and he had guys like Pete Rich. So it was really interesting to kind of hear their thoughts on some of the questions. And Greg asked the questions regarding night fishing, what aspects are helpful to kind of share with us. He asked questions about what the most important piece of gear is in your boat or in your tackle box, which I thought was interesting. Hands down, a lot of guys say electronics, and that was pretty much the thing. Also, he asked about bait selection, what type of baits, asked, what's the most common mistake for new musky anglers. There was a lot of good information, and you got that outside perspective from guys that are doing it every day. And Greg kind of shored that up. After they answered the questions on the video, Greg would expand on that. And I really thought that was helpful because, again, these guys are the professionals. They're out there doing it every day. Doug Wenger has an awesome YouTube channel. He's got high quality video, but what really makes it is his abilities as a fisherman. He shows you things. He teaches you things. He's out there doing it every day. He's guiding. And those opinions are really valued. And I think that translates into kind of helping us learn something new. But Greg really focused on the aspect of trolling and the technical setup of it. Again, he talked about the Fat AZ rod holders. He talked about his spreads, talked about water depth. He talked about bait selection, all of that stuff. And I found that to be super helpful and really super beneficial. But Greg also, to me, he's an excellent speaker. And I like the way he engages people. I like the way he answers questions. And again, by this part, I was already blown away by the seminars, but Greg kind of took it over the top for me. So I really enjoyed that. And I really enjoyed all 4 of the seminars throughout the day. And kind of in between those seminars when we had breaks, those were your opportunities to look at products. Tony had his rattle baits there. Vance brought some of the Fat AZ stuff down. So there were Raptors, there were sloppy swimmers. All in all, there was a ton of Musky Hunter stuff. I just thought it was really cool that in between the seminars, we had opportunities to kind of look at product, talk to those guys about the products, and purchase product. And in addition to that, it was an awesome opportunity for you to get 5 or 10 or 15 minutes with Tony or Greg or Vance or Tim one-on-one and just sit there and drill them with questions. So all in all, the seminars were awesome. They were really helpful. They were really beneficial. And I personally learned a lot. But that extra time that I got in between the seminars really kind of encapsulated this whole thing for me and just made it even more special because you get that one-on-one with them. So again, I really enjoyed myself. I'm being super positive here, but that's because it was such a positive experience. And I really urge you guys to take a look at Road Rules. Whether it's a clinic coming up or whether it's next year, it doesn't matter because that event is really awesome and I can't wait to be a part of the next one that comes down the line. All right, guys, really quick. I just want to talk about this for a few minutes. Again, Musky Road Rules. They had a bunch of stickers there today. Greg and Tony were there with the Musky Hunter gear. As you guys can see here, I picked up a new sweatshirt. Pretty awesome, pretty pumped about it. But they all were also offering subscriptions. They had the magazine there. Another cool thing is they had a bunch of back issues like that they were giving away. So you guys hopefully can see that. Really cool opportunity to pick up some magazines. But in addition to that, they did a lot in the way of giving you free stuff. And, free stuff doesn't always make a show for me. But one really cool thing about it was when you signed up for Road Rules, instantly, you got your packet, you got the stickers, you got cards, you got a bunch of flyers and stuff for guide services. But they also gave you a free leader from Stealth Tackle. So hopefully you guys can see that. This is 130 pounds. This is an awesome giveaway just for signing up. So I thought that was pretty cool. And the other thing was they had door prizes. So you got to put your name on basically a ticket. They put it in a box and they called 2 door prizes for each person that signed up. And what that meant for me today was basically 2 free baits. So my first free bait ended up being a Grim Reaper spinner bait. Now hopefully you guys can see that. This is my first musky spinner bait. And I thought it was ridiculous to me that it's taken me this long to get a spinner bait. But in reality, I fish spinner baits for bass all the time. And I never really just think to use spinner baits for muskie. And after talking to Tony and him telling me about his experience with Grim Reaper, pretty cool sticker there too. I was super pumped to get this for free. I'm going to throw this. I'm going to throw it around here. I'm going to throw it at Chautauqua. I'm going to get back to my roots as a spinnerbait bass fisherman and translate that into the musky world. I'm going to start right here with that Grim Reaper. So I was pretty pumped about that. But they called us again. They had a second round of free giveaways. And what that ended up being for me is this Boggs custom swim bait. Now, I've never seen one of these before. So if you guys have any information on these, leave me a comment below. But it just looks like a really cool swim bait. It's got these little bumps on the bottom here. And it's got that really long curly tail. So I think this will probably be good. The profile's pretty cool because it's really long. But again, for a free bait, those are decent giveaways. And also, some of the guys that went up before me, they had Boss shads. And they had all kinds of high-end baits on the table. And they had a lot of cool free musky hunter stuff too. So I was really blown away by the stuff that they were giving away for free. And really, just the vendors that kind of buy into Road Rules. So that just made it even more awesome to get some really cool stuff like that. In addition to that, they had a raffle. Now, they had 3 raffles. They had a rod, they had some baits, and they had some Musky Hunter stuff that they were giving away. So they had like 3 bait buckets. You could go out, buy some tickets, put some of the tickets in the bait bucket, and at the end of the thing, they basically raffled those 3 off. Well, the really funny thing was I put my tickets, 2 tickets in the middle bucket and 1 on the end for the Musky Hunter stuff. And sure enough, Tony called my number. And I was like, wait, what? He's holding a box of baits. And I'm just like, wait a second. I just want a box of baits. So I go up there and I grab the box off him. I had not looked in there, previously. And there's like 6 or 7 baits in this box. And I'm thinking like, holy cow, like I just won all of these baits. Well, in this box happened to be a 22 long in the walleye pattern. There happened to be a boss shad in the box in this really cool like bluegill greenish stripe color. That's a sweet bait. But also there was one of those like Lake X toads in there. So I got like one of the toads as well. And I'm just sitting here thinking to myself like, man, I am super fortunate. And in addition to that, there were like 3 or 4 other baits in there. And, I ended up with a Toothy's tackle, bucktail here with the big grub on it. So that's a pretty sweet bait there with the blades. That's a pretty cool. And then I also got this Big Mama, which looks like a topwater bait to me. These are high-end baits here, guys. These aren't like cheap baits. And, again, like Lake X, Custom X lures. Custom X lure there, the crankbait. Pretty awesome color with the black and like the greenish gold. And then I don't know what this bait is. I have one of these. I'm not sure. That's a big profile bait. And for a jerk bait, these are awesome giveaways. And my point being, like for signing up for $35, having the opportunity to get all of this information and talk to these guys one-on-one, going through the seminars, getting your free leader, getting these couple baits and then winning the raffle, like this made it even more special to me. So I was like, I'm still kind of on cloud 9 because I was so happy to be at the event and really just fortunate to get in there and listen to these guys talk and ask them questions and get answers to my questions. But then you throw in all this free stuff, it's like I'm totally blown away. So, from my experience here, I really just can't say enough about Tony and Greg and the way they run these things. And it makes you want to come back, and it makes you want to be more involved, and it makes you want to do more in the musky community and really get out there and fish more. And I really just wanted to make sure I emphasize that in this episode because my experience is obviously different from others' experience, but from my standpoint, I couldn't have asked for a better event. So super pumped. It was just, again, it was so awesome, and I was just thankful to be a part of it. And one thing I want to show you guys real quick, just a couple things that I actually purchased today. I picked up. Tony Grant has the Fat Belly Rattlers. Now, I purchased these for Canada and really kind of throw over weeds at times. I wanted to show you guys that pattern. That's a really sick pattern to me. It kind of looks like a crappie. But then they also had this like golden shiner type. So you guys know that my theme for the year is Goldie, so I went with the Goldie. The other thing I want to show you guys really quick, with those rattle baits, it's always good to take a look at the small wire leaders. These leaders actually have like a split ring on the bottom. You actually attach another split ring to it, and these short leaders really work very nicely with those small compact rattle baits. So anytime you guys look at those, make sure you get the smaller leaders to go with them. But one other thing I wanted to talk about too is, again, Vance had brought me down a couple of baits that I asked Andy about. Pretty sweet pattern here in the 6-inch Raptor. I got the Fire Tiger today. There's the AZ logo. In my opinion, one of my favorite colors is this Gold Rapala. So I got the 6-inch in again. And one last thing I want to show you guys is their Sloppy Swimmer. This is a really cool little rubber bait, and I think Vance poured these, so I was super pumped to kind of pick one up. And of course, the profile is short, it's stubby and chubby, and it's just a little 6-inch swim bait, kind of like the Poseidon's, only smaller. But that Goldie pattern, I couldn't pass on it. These are relatively inexpensive compared to most musky baits. So check out the Sloppy Swimmer. I think that's going to help me boat some fish this year. Whether they're pike, whether they're musky, whether they're bass, I don't know. But I'm going to throw it, and we're going to see how it goes. All right, guys, so all in all, Musky Road Rules, fantastic event. Again, awesome opportunity for you guys to learn something new about muskies and the sport of musky fishing. They really talk about the technical aspects of musky fishing, gone into some trolling, some bait selection, water temps, water depths, rod selection at times, the Fat Easy rod holders. Talked about location, where are you going to find these fish at certain times of the year, certain water depths, certain structure points. Talked about techniques like vertical jigging, and really just gave you some general tips that will help you learn something new. So I think $35 for this event is well worth it. And then you talk about all the giveaways, just awesome day for me, with the stickers, with the magazines, with the baits. And I just couldn't ask for a better event, to go to and really have the opportunity to learn. So hopefully you guys will take this, and hopefully you guys will check out Musky Road Rules. It is absolutely worth your time and worth the effort to get out to these events and talk to just really outstanding people and fishermen, and it just gives you a whole new perspective. So with that said, if you guys like this video, go ahead and hit that like button for me. If you guys like this content overall, please subscribe to my channel. I greatly appreciate it. All right, guys, we have Muskies Inc. meeting tomorrow in Cranberry/Warrendale. I'm super pumped about that because that's the yearly lure swap. So I'll get a chance to talk to Joel tomorrow. Looking forward to that. We also have the Allegheny Outdoor Show coming up this weekend. I don't know that I'm going to make it out there, but if I do, I'll take some video. And then a couple weeks from now, we have the Musky Max Plus. So again, busy time, show season. We're getting there. We're almost to mid-February here, so just hang in there. Fishing season is right around the corner. A couple awesome events still to go this winter. I am looking forward to it. So with that said, I wish you all tight lines. We'll see you guys next time.